So, I guess what are some common misconceptions that our customers have here?
So I guess probably, seeing all sides of it. I'll go work on the parts counter sometimes. Sometimes I'll go mingle with y'all out in the service drive. Sometimes the technicians. I think from being a technician, I was always taught that you inspect every car the same. It doesn't matter. Ray Fry was kind of my mentor growing up. He was my fixed ops director, and he taught us that no matter how many miles the car had, if it had 5 miles or if it had 500,000 miles, you did the exact same inspection every time. You
Every
checked
single
all the
time.
boxes, wrote down all the measurements. I think the bad part about that is sometimes is, my probably favorite thing to hear in a dealer is, I brought my car in there and y'all found all this stuff wrong with it. And that kind of used to make me, I don't want to say happy as a technician, but nobody ever got to talk about or hear when Ray would come back there and say, hey, I just got off the phone with a customer for 30 minutes and he's at another shop and we didn't tell him that his brakes, he had one brake pad that was at a 1 or a 2 millimeter and we got them marked at 6 or we got them marked at 7. Those are tough conversations with a parent. A lot of kids from schools nearby come and get their car serviced here. Their parents pay, so sometimes you hear, I brought my car and you recommended all this stuff, but nobody ever really hears the flip side of that, where hey, my daughter brought their car there, or my son, they're in college, I'm 1,000 miles away, and you service the car, and now their belt broke on the side of the road, or the brakes are squealing, or they left there yesterday, and when they woke up this morning, now their tire's flat. Nobody really hears those conversations. So it really is. It's our job, and a technician's job, like I said, to do an inspection on the car the exact same way every time, regardless of, like I said, if it's got 5 miles, if it's got 500,000 miles, it's the exact same thing every time. They are non-biased. It's not their job to figure out, hey, this person's traveling or this person's got 30 minutes till they got to leave. We truly just train them to don't take any shortcuts.
Right.
If we gotta have a conversation with a customer and let them know it's going to be a few more minutes, to make sure that we inspect their car the way that it deserves to be inspected.
It's the same process every single time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think even on that, what about, you know, kind of on the same topic of, well, you found this X, Y, and Z, and this, and this. The customer's reactions to that is, we kind of take it kind of personal on our behalf,
Yeah.
because we just want what's best for the vehicle. We want you guys to be safe
Yep.
at the end of the day. So if we can keep you safe in your vehicle, but nobody is absolutely in any way, shape, or form twisting anybody's arm to do anything
Yeah.
on their vehicle. It is just simply our due diligence to make sure that you are aware of everything that's going on that car.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, if we don't do an inspection and something does happen,
Yeah.
we have to say, of course, I'll say, I hate to say it, but I love to say, I told you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be the person to be like, this is exactly what's going on. If you have any questions about it, if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. But I just need to let you know that is simply my job to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think it's important, we talk about multi-point inspections. We start talking about things when they near. Not necessarily that we're recommending them to you right now, but a lot of the word tracks or the things that we tell our customers are, when we start, our inspections go green, yellow, red. So green obviously is great. Yellow is when we get down to 40 to 50%. We call it may need attention in the future. And then once we get to red, it's hey, we need to take care of this today. So in a perfect world, we're green. When we transition to yellow, Allie gets the chance to tell you, hey, everything's
upcoming.
great. I know Christmas is around the corner, but in 5,000 miles, when you visit us again, you're probably going to need brakes. So, on our side, we try to do the due diligence of giving our customers the ability to plan financially for that.
Right.
There's nothing worse than this is probably the hardest conversation that I have to have with customers is, hey, now my car needs brakes and rotors, and nobody has told me up until this point that I need a brake. So not only, did we not mention it when they were in the yellow, but now I don't even need brakes. I need brakes and rotors because the brakes are so bad that it's damaged other components in the braking system. So it's a whole lot easier conversation for me to have, and we tell our technicians this and train them. It's hard to argue with transparency. There's not ever been one engineer that has called me about designing anything on a vehicle. We're simply here to fix what they engineer. So, if you're a mail lady, a mailman, you need brakes a little bit more frequently than a little lady from Pasadena that drives to church on Sundays.
Right.
Things do. Driving conditions change people's, the amount of time that things last on their vehicles. Talk about towing a lot. The effects that towing has on a vehicle and just some of the wearables. So, I think it's important that, that we are transparent with our customers and that we, we deliver the news and we tell them when things are, up and coming. That's our job to help you plan financially and to protect your investment, because that's the only reason we're here.
Absolutely.
John David, which is our general sales manager, we laugh sometimes and talk about, the difference in sales and service, and I always tell him to me, they're everything in a car dealership's hard. I mean, there's not one corner of this building that there isn't an obstacle to overcome, but I always kid with John David, that when people come to buy a car, they're looking to buy a car. I've never had one person in my entire career come through those doors in service that's looking to spend money on fixing their car.
Absolutely.
So sometimes that can be an obstacle for Allie and our team to overcome, is, how to make you feel good about your car being broke.
Right.
Because nobody likes a broke car. Nobody wants to spend unnecessary money that, they weren't planning for. So a whole lot easier for us to talk about it up front and then, help you plan financially, and what to look for the next time you come in for service.